according to rentals.ca and Urban Nation, average rents fall to $2,008 per month after the largest drop in 5 years. 2008, I mean, if you're asking me, $2,000 is still a lot for like a 2-bedroom, or I guess what's that? That's the median rent. It would be a 2-bedroom.
Again, when you're looking at an investment purchase, do not be looking at the current rents. You cannot use the current rents. You got to go back in time. If you guys can see this, the number, if you're looking at buying an investment property, I would be using 1670. That is the minimum rent I'd be using for my rental analysis to determine, is this actually going to be something good to buy?
The content discussed in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or mortgage advice. Always consult with a licensed professional before making any decisions regarding mortgages or financial matters.
Welcome to the Canadian Mortgage Show. Here are mortgage professionals Alex Pang and Alex Shanks to cut through the BS and educate Canadians on all things mortgages and real estate.
Welcome to episode 84 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Alex Pang here alongside Alex Shanks. Alex, you're still white like Dave said last week.
Yeah, it's still I got to get a better light, maybe put some more light in here. And I still haven't cut my hair, still haven't shaved. I was actually talking with my son last night. He's like, why do you have a beard here? I'm like, it's just having. I'm like, I don't think my 7-year-old has ever actually seen my face clean shaven. I don't think it's ever happened. So I'm like, maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll do it for the podcast and I'll do it for my son. But if I come on here, everyone will be like, holy shit, they've brought a teenager on the show.
You know what? I have actually never seen you clean shaven before. So it'll be a first for all of us.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't. It pretty much, I think probably since I was like 21, since I could have a beard, it's pretty much been there, other than when I had to work in the oil and gas where you have to shave if you go into a dangerous spot. But that's it's always there.
Why is that? Is it because your hair can catch fire with something, or why do you have to?
When you have to wear like a mask that way, you have to make sure you can get a clean seal.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're in spring here. I'm in the Lower Mainland. It's supposed to be spring, but I don't know about you, but it's been really cold this week.
I mean, cold in the morning, but like it's super nice now. But definitely cold in the morning. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've like, for those of you who know me, I'm pretty particular when it comes to our blanket in our bed. And so we have like 4 different blankets. We have the winter one, we have the in between the winter and spring one, the spring one. And so we were in the in between winter and spring, and we had a warm spell last week. And I'm like, oh, hey, we can transition to the spring blanket. Nope, it was too cold. And then, yeah, I had to bring it back. And then my wife keeps rolling her eyes like, come on, just put on some clothes with the spring. I'm like, nope. I tried it for a bit. I'm like, oh, I'm freezing. Nope.
Perfect blanket.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we have a jam-packed show. We've had guests for the last couple of weeks. So we need to catch up on.
It kind of feels weird, Alex. Just me and you talking. It is nice having guests, and the guests we had were awesome. And so it's just back to me and you now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we got to catch up. I mean, some of these news items are a couple weeks old, but we gotta bring it back to the forefront here. I'll lead off here. The major thing that was announced a couple weeks ago for Ontarians, they have partnered with the federal government to spend $8.8 billion to cut municipal development charges by 50% over a 3-year period. Now, if you combine that with the new HST rebate for a year, we're talking like 10 or 15% off new development. I mean, this is not insignificant now, right?
Now, what I've also just heard is that prices on some of the new purchases, they're bumping the prices up now. And it's like, how, again, the market's going to dictate to them. No one's going to buy them. It's like, hey, you guys got this rebate. But again, we've talked about it before. All it's really showing is this just a bail for the developers. It's not to you guys, the first time home buyers, the investors. That's not what this is here for. It kind of works in BC and Alberta to get like the GST rebate and stuff. You can maybe make some money on it there. In Ontario, like the prices are just too high there.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to that, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow is pledging to reduce municipal permitting time to 4 months. I don't know if it's actually realistic, but that's a great thing. Anything to help. You're right. It is really just to bail out the developers. I mean, what happens when this 3-year period ends? What happens when this 1-year HST rebate ends? And I mean, it's come out now. It's been a couple of weeks since this announcement has, and someone from social kind of posted the stats there. Who is passing on the savings? Now, Alex was mentioning some have raised it. We're not saying everyone has. Their majority of them, they're good builders. 84 of them have lowered their prices, and the average cut has been about 81,000. 8 of them have kept the prices around the same. And the ones that Alex were mentioning are 3. 3 actually raise the prices. So there's a special place in hell for those kind of people that just want to pocket the difference, and it really doesn't make a difference for buyers, where they'll keep they'll keep something off the top, and you'll still see some savings, but not all of it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They'll do, hey, 2 years, no strata fees, or hey, you'll get a car with it. Like they're going to use incentives elsewhere. But it's just kind of hilarious that they think like, ooh, we were going to save some money. Yeah, it's not going to you guys, it's going to us.
Absolutely. So I mean, if you think about it, if the federal government is partnering with Ontario to do this, us, the rest of the country, are subsidizing that, right? So I mean, we're here in BC. Do you think we should get that too?
I mean, I would hope so.
The BC developers have also issued an open letter to David Eby to get the same thing. Honestly, I think it's a matter of time before we get it here in BC as well. So, I mean, it's a good thing overall. It really is bailing out developers and the banks, to be honest with you, because right now the pre-sale market is deader than a doornail. And if anything, this kind of revives it a little bit. I mean, we're not going to see crazy COVID, euphoria again, but it's reviving it from dead.
Yeah, again, it would be nice. Like the new builds were nice, like as a nice starting home in some cases for like a townhome or a condo for like a starting thing. But again, a lot of these like condos in the sky, the crates in the sky, they're meant for like an end user, and it's like no one wants to live in them. Like the only way it works is if investors can buy them, or the developers are going to have to turn them into investments. Like that's really all it's going to happen.
Yeah, and we've seen in previous charts that sales have been suffering, so developers have slowly changing them to rentals. And you see in the charts on the rentals, like rentals have skyrocketed. I'm like, let's look behind the curtain. It's really the pre-sales so they've shifted to rentals. That's why the rental market has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And I think developers are lauding to actually decrease the price. They are more wanting to give up more incentives than actually lowering the price.
Yeah.
Because for the early buyers who bought at, let's just say 100% MSRP,
yeah,
to lower the price to 80, 85%, it's going to piss off the original buyers. So what I've been hearing is that buyers are having to sign NDAs to see what the pricing is, and they'll get the discount as a decorating allowance, whatever that amount is, as a massive decorating allowance, 2-year strata fees, or whatever, like huge upgrades incentives, and they'll show up on the statement of adjustments, and the end user will see the discount, but it's not open to the public. So it won't, it won't drop the comparable and such. So it protects both heads, but I guess that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I bought a new build when I was younger, and the GST rebate was there. It made sense. It was like the difference in price was like 15,000 between an old townhouse or 15,000 more for brand new, and the GST rebate was going to be at that time it was going to be 12,000 to me. It's like, oh, I'm just going to buy that. Like it just made more sense, but that's not the math now. And then we talk about this, and I mean it's funny here. Canada's economy says they added 14,000 jobs. Now again, this is where the economists actually said that there was more jobs than they thought. They didn't think there was going to be that many jobs being added, but unemployment rate still is held at 6.7. Again, this is not, to me, it's not a sign of our economy doing great.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see cracks. I mean, things are kind of holding steady. Like anecdotally on the ground, I'm talking with some friends who are looking for jobs. They've been looking for months now. They see postings, but places aren't even hiring. So it's essentially like why are these employers posting if they're not hiring, or maybe they're just resume stacking, I guess, for down the line. But yeah, I mean, some like new reports have come out here for sales here. I mean, we're focusing a little bit on the GTA right now. Now, home sales in the GTA rose on a year-over-year basis in March for the first time in 6 months, while the average selling prices moved lower again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, sales has improved. I mean, anything more than zero shows that it's improvement. So, like
I like,
for any of the
you said the market is not rebounding, though. It's slightly better than dead.
yes, absolutely. So, Treb, they're the real estate body in Toronto here, said 5,039 homes changed hands in March. It's up 1.7% from the same month last year. It's marking the first increase since last September. So more sales, but prices are still going down. So that's kind of the sentiment or the trend lately.
Just got to come to the island. We're still every day it's multiple offers. I have clients that are the backup to backup offers, and I'm like, just what is this wildness?
Yeah, you are this sort of utopian market that the rest of Canada is not involved in.
I'm not going to call I'm not going to call realtors on, but I have people buying in the Vancouver area too, Alex, and they're like realtors saying, "Oh, we have to go in with no subjects and all this stuff." I'm like, guys, your market is dead. Like, why are you putting this type of pressure on your client? I don't know if they're super hungry and like, oh my God, I haven't done a deal in 6 months, but like I've had to like calm the clients down, like, hey, like you're not going to miss out on this. Like this is not some crazy deal. It's okay. It's a fair deal, but it's not insane.
Yeah, I mean, there is plenty of supply in the Lower Mainland right now. Especially condos and townhouses. There are dime a dozen, and of course, there's more supply in detached as well. Yeah, I have a couple of clients looking, and I said, you know what? Fortunately, you are in the power position, so there is opportunity to be had. You can find a deal. Of course, because of there is no urgency, they're going to take their time. Like, hey, you very well have that right to, and they'll be able to get a good deal, and they have the benefit of time to be more picky.
And which is not, I think that's where again we talk about uncertain times and everything. This is like, to me as a home buyer, it'd be nice. It's like you get to choose, like there's no urgency. It's not, you shouldn't have to feel pressured of, oh my God. And again, even let's talk about rates. Yes, people have rate holds. Do not let that be the decision of, I got to buy this place because my rate hold's going to go up. Even if you had something at 3.7 and you're going to go to 4.4, I'm more than happy paying a higher interest rate in a place that I actually want at a good deal. And that's just where making sure people don't feel pressured.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the Canadian the bond yields. It's kind of holding steady. The 5-year bond yield's holding steady at 3.1. So whatever elevated fixed rates that we've already seen, it seems to be kind of holding now. It doesn't look like it's going to go anymore. I mean, I haven't been keeping tabs on the whole Iran war thing. It looks like there may be end in sight, or there's negotiation, like Trump willing to pay the two million per ship kind of tariff, or whatever the
It's pretty wild.
exit fee is for. Yeah.
Wait, think of this though. The S&P 500 also is at all-time highs right now. Like how is that pot? Like it's weird times right now, and that's where it's for sure like taking your time, doing what's actually going to be best for sure. And this is an interesting one. It's talking about, Lala brought up the 12 largest banks. This is in North America. This is based in January 2026. It's talking about the different like assets, deposit, loans that they have. And JP Morgan, Chase, they dominate the amount of assets, deposits, and loans. And I'd be interested to know, like, I would say, like, in here, Goldman Sachs has like the lower amount of like assets held and everything. But again, the deposits that JP Morgan Chase has just outweighs them. I never know, like, assets for a bank, it helps them again for them to borrow money, but really the most important thing to a bank is deposits. That is the most important thing, and then credit cards. that is where they want their money from.
And this interesting stat here, if for those of you on the video side, you'll see this graph here. 5 of the 12 largest banks in North America are from Canada. And last time I heard, America has like close to 10 times the population of Canada, right? Like 9.5 times, around 9 times. The fact that RBC, TD, Scotia, BMO, CIBC are on this list is like, wow,
So like,
they're
so that
essentially like the
I wouldn't take
conglomerate or
that.
the
Yeah, but that's because in the US they have like 900 banks compared to our like 100 banks, and talking like credit unions and everything in Canada. That's why you got RBC, T, because those are the banks that take care of everything. In the US, you can even see they have more in the top list, and there's way more banks out there. And that's where,
yeah.
again, is it more competitive in the US? Maybe. Uh, I would rather get a mortgage in Canada than the US. The only time you'd want a mortgage in the US was 2021. That's the only time that you'd ever want to have a mortgage from the US. You locked in at 2.5% for 30 years. Every other time, you'd rather have a Canadian mortgage for the interest rate.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess the reason why these Canadian banks are on this top list here, they've been strategic acquisitions inside the states to grow their international footprint and stuff. And here the CIBC leads in efficiency ratios. Um, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley have very loan to asset ratios. So, I mean, if you're not a numbers perspective, at least you can see like which institution is focused on which segment more than others. And you're right. Deposits are a main thing, because if they don't receive deposits, they can't lend the money out or they can't invest it in other areas. And we all know
And
that
that's
the
every bank.
yeah.
Yeah, every bank does it different. Like TD and RBC, they really focus back in the day on getting deposits. They have GICs and that. Like CIBC and Scotia have that, but the way that Scotia gets their money is a lot different than RBC and TD. They actually have to go out and buy the money, where at TD and RBC, they're lending the money on their assets based on the deposits they have. And that's where it's the banking world is wild, where money comes from and what they get to do with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we segue into, we're still on the housing files. According to rentals.ca and Urban Nation, average rents fall to $2,008 per month after the largest drop in 5 years. So, I mean, it's been steadily declining for, I believe, what is it, 25 months now,
Yep.
since the peak of March of 2024. Yeah, so rentals 2008. I mean, if you're asking me, $2,000 is still a lot for like a 2 bedroom, or I guess what's that? That's the median rent. It would be a 2 bedroom.
I think so. And that's, I mean, all I would say, anyone that can see this chart on here as well, is this goes back to March 20th and March 2021. Is like the lowest I hit was 1670, and then obviously the highest I hit was 2100, pretty much 2200. Again, when you're looking at an investment purchase, do not be looking at the current rents. You cannot use the current rents. You got to go back in time. If you guys can see this, the number, if you're looking at buying an investment property, I would be using 1670. That is the minimum rent I'd be using for my rental analysis to determine, is this actually going to be something good to buy? Where
Yeah.
everyone always takes that high number, and that's not how you need to base it.
Yeah. And if we superimpose how like the home price index is, that we've talked about it, where home prices have erased all the COVID gains, and like we're back to what, 2017 to 2018, 19 prices, whatever graph you're looking at. Rents have not come back to 2017 values. So rents are still higher yeah. And even though rents have dropped, it's still higher than it was before. But like as an investor, there is this mom and pop investor right now. Like 20% is not, you're not going to cash flow. You probably need to put like 35 or 40% a day to be able to even be neutral.
Yeah. And I mean, then like a cap rate of like 4%. And it's like, well, why would you do that? There's more work where you could just put it into the market and make a 5% pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, right now, the mom and pop investor are kind of extinct for the time being. I mean, they will return one day. It's just, I don't see it anytime soon. It's almost like prices need to go down more, but rents cannot drop. They'll need to actually kind of stay the same. Interest rates. It's a whole like wheel of different factors that need to kind of play in favor. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of good for the whole disincentivizing real estate as an investment vehicle for
Yeah.
Canadians. I mean, it's good for homes, but yeah, not so good if you have a real estate portfolio. Okay, so this next little thing here, another report here, the IMF International Monetary Fund World Economic Outlook was updated. Canada is no longer worst in per capita GDP.
Yeah.
So let's give ourselves a pat on the back.
Well,
But
I'm honestly surprised that Mexico is lower, to be honest. I thought Mexico's like their GDP growth was actually doing better because like more stuff. I'm actually surprised by that. I knew Canada was low, but I am surprised by Mexico.
honestly, I don't know. It could have been all that cartel stuff that was happening with El
Yeah, maybe yeah.
Mencho.
Yeah.
I mean, now a funny thing is Luxembourg, they're at negative. I'm like, their country, right? Like, how big is their population? Like, what do they even do? Let me do a quick look here.
Yeah. And I mean, you got Ireland is the top at 62%. And I mean, again, you got the US kind of in the middle of the pack, which again, like that's just where it would be better. I believe that I thought we almost had a negative number for Canada, like a couple like previously as well.
Yeah, so Luxembourg, their population is just under 700,000.
Yeah.
So that's like, I think that's around the size of Surrey,
Yeah.
where I live. So, and I was just looking at what their mostly driven by immigration, foreign nationals. I honestly don't even know what their industry is. So, but yeah, well, I mean, hey, yes, we're not last, but we're like bottom three, and then of course, U.S. being high up there with 20% per capita GDP growth since the last 10 years, and we all know 2015 to 2025, it was the Trudeau era where our government kind of slowly ran our country to the ground here.
Now this is a report I've been seeing this being spread. I saw, and I'll talk about it here after. A new RBC report says between 2015 to 2024, more than $1 trillion in investment exited Canada, the largest capital exodus in Canadian history. And the 6 sectors where Canada can attract back that investment is oil and gas, 705 billion left, electricity, 635 billion, mining, 200 billion, agriculture and food processing, 205 billion, defense and space, 30 billion. Again, I mean, I saw something on Facebook of some person's like, I deal with a small accountant firm and everyone's selling all their assets and they're leaving Canada. I'm like, okay, like, where do you like, I understand that people are not happy with Canada. Like, hey, I don't love where everything is going, but sorry to say, you're not going to find a better place. Like there is like, yes, there's some policies here and everything. But what you get here in Canada compared to other places, then yes, if you want to go live in the heat in maybe Costa Rica is really expensive actually. Let's say in Mexico, in the bush in Mexico, hey, you can go live really cheap, but you're going to be dying of heat. Like it's a lot of this stuff though, we've done it to ourselves. Oil and gas, hey, we should be doing that here. Now, is that going to change? Maybe with some of this stuff. Again, I kind of thought like, you remember when it happened when that freaking tanker got stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, that was like in 2022 as well, when all that shit. I was like, well, we realized that we need to be doing more manufacturing at our home. They talked about it on the news. That didn't change anything. We kept doing everything the same way. And so I don't believe even the stuff that's happening between US and Iran and Canada, it's not going to change anything. We're going to keep doing the same thing.
Alex, but they signed all these MOUs. Aren't you like optimistic that something's going to happen now that Carney has a majority government? We'll talk about that. Like, we have a whole nother segment we're going to talk about, but all these MOUs, aren't you like hopeful?
No, I just feel like it's, again, US is going to get something that they want from Canada, and then it's just going to go back to normal. That's the cycle I feel that we're going in. And again, do I believe it's a good one? No. I believe that we should be doing more stuff. Again, I think we should have a good partnership with the US. There's certain things that we do really well. There's certain things that they do really well. We focus on the things that we do. They focus on the things that they do. Like that's how it should be done.
Yeah, I mean, I can see all this stuff here is likely not like the everyday average Canadian investor, like whatever our savings and investments, I can see this being mostly corporate investment, where even Brookfield moved their head office to, to the States, and these manufacturing moving to the States, all that stuff. It's kind of like a net exodus, and it's an indictment on our country because we have way too much red tape to be able to flourish in Canada. And what was that? Was that potash company that decided to bypass BC or the Vancouver or even whatever, and to go to Washington because of like less red tape, and this is basically a sign of like confirming what we've already seen already, and it's showing up in the numbers.
Yeah. And it's again, we've like the Canadian, like the way, like there used to be different tax loopholes, especially for doctors in Canada, that made it more lucrative for them. The government's taken that away because again, they have to find money from somewhere. All this money to do all this stuff that they say they want to do doesn't just come from thin air. I mean, they make it come from thin air by printing it, but they have to say that they're going to replace it and fill the deficits. And that's where I believe, again, we need to go back to building businesses in Canada. Like that's really what we need to help people focus on.
Yeah, and all the signs, we poo-poo on the government. It's good that you've signed these MOUs, even in BC as well with the mining. Let's actually start doing something now. Let's cut the red tape. Let's shorten these development times. Let's reduce the amount of consultations that takes 19 years for a mine to build. All that stuff. Let's just remove the barriers to get things going. All right. So we're calling on government in all levels to let's get rid of this gridlock to move things forward.
Yeah.
So we kind of segue to another thing here. We've long talked about how the real estate market is kind of suffering right now, and whenever there's suffering, the tide goes out, and we can see who has been swimming with their pants down. And this happens here. Nicola Wealth here is a private real estate fund here. They are halting redemptions on $755 million. I believe Nicola Wealth is mostly focused on Western Canada. Now, because real estate's being killed, they have plans to wind it down after they've experienced a 25% loss last year. Now, a big thing that's been hurting of it is condos have accounted for 25% of the fund's assets. So we're gonna hear more and more of these things as things unwind. As I guess some are calling it the condo crash in the GTA. We're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, I would call it a REIT crash. It's all these things of like these semi things of like invest in these things, and everyone saw money. Like private wealth has always been out there investing in things, but these were like small firms trying to grow really big. And again, like the corporate structure, owning real estate in the U.S. is much more lucrative because they get to write all a bunch of interest. So even if their returns aren't as good, there's more ways to like account for that. Where here, if they're helping people buy condos and they're not selling, well, you're screwed. Now this one is the Canada Post announced it will end its door-to-door mail deliveries following the federal mandated restructuring to the Crown Corporation. And I mean, does it suck that it's not the Canada Post doing stuff anymore? But again, they never changed with the times. I mean, really, they should have seen back in the day, hey, this is what Amazon's doing. Oh shit, we need to do this. That's on them. Again, would that been a better money for Canada? Yeah, instead of us paying Amazon now, and again, Amazon knows all the loopholes of, hey, you're trying to unionize. Okay, well, we're not going to work here anymore. I'm going to make sure I'm paying the least amount of taxes in Canada. Where it would have been nice if Canada Post would have been smarter with their business planning.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of insolvent since 2018, and so it's been essentially a money pit. Now, I mean, it could be. I mean, there's always a debate on should we treat healthcare, schools, and these what do you call it? Essential services as a business? Yeah, like, well, no, but I mean, you can't be bleeding money, and so like
I mean, is Canada Post like that to me? Yes, it is an essential service in a sense, but like that probably should have been more treated like a business. Like, yes, hospitals should be in a sense ran, but hey, I don't want them opening every door. That's how they get paid. I never know this is true, and maybe someone can message. I heard a story where I live, for libraries, they get paid from the government by the amount of times that the door opens. That's how they get their funding. Now it's not like, hey, they don't get a dollar every time, but the more times that it opens, and there's a lot of like homeless people going on in our areas right now, and a lot of businesses got together and said, hey, we can't really run our businesses properly anymore. Hey, maybe if the library got on board with us, the library's like, no, don't do that. That stops our funding. And they're happy to have those people there because they come in and out, and they want that. Do I know if that's true? Could that just be whatever you want to call it, that game of telephone when you say something to someone and it gets passed on? But I'd be interested to know, like, is that how some of these like government funding programs are ran?
Yeah, I mean, if we actually peeled the onion layer open to see how it actually is, I mean, this is why we have these pods and other people who kind of shine a light on this. I'm like, hey, this isn't right. Like, you're just wasting taxpayer dollars and such. Now, I mean, speaking of like wasting taxpayer dollars or just ruining how our system is going when immigration was running rampant and it was going free flowing. Here's a quote from an immigration lawyer who is anonymous here. They say that a person can show up at the border, give a written story prepared with AI, and the officer is instructed to not ask questions that will verify the credibility of the story. Even if officers want a question, they can't. And this kind of goes on to saying that if someone wanted to investigate a fraudulent story, they had to do it out of their own time. It adds, I don't know, 10, 12 hours to it. And they are subject to quotas that they need to meet. And because they're faced with all these kind of like time constrictions, they can't like deny these claims. So that's why the whole system was rigged to fail, and why immigration kind of ran rampant until it was finally, put a stop to.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. And again, how do we know this is true? It's so hard to know. But I mean, we've seen some of the cases. I believe the validity of this more than the story I just said. But it is pretty wild. Now, this is a new polling suggests that a majority of Canadians think Canada should explore joining the EU. A survey of 4,000 people. We surveyed 4,000 people.
Are you one of those 4,000 people, Alex?
I've never been surveyed, man. I've never been surveyed. And they found that 25% thought it'd be a good idea for Canada to join the EU. 58% said it was worth considering. Like, I find polls so funny. Like, they're just such a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's in response to the whole tensions between us and the States. Geographically, I'm like, we are so out of the way from EU. We're across the ocean. Like, what kind of benefit would that be to do any trade? And like, we can still trade with countries in the EU without being part of the EU. You know what I mean? Yeah, this one's kind of funny. This was probably more of a uh, we're not happy with Trump in the States. I'm interested to find out, will this number change once Trump is out of office? Once everything is settled between us and the States, we're all hunky dory again. We have a love fest. If we ask this again, I'm sure the number will be the opposite direction. It'll be like, no, like we have it good already. So
No, and again, I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, the younger population is upset in some cases with the liberals. Some of them are, some of them not. Like, it's again, we are becoming more like the US with like how our political system is. It's just like it's such a there's only you're left or you're right. It's like, well, guys, like let's meet in the middle. Like that's really what's needed here.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna finish off on a few items here. We're kind of gonna leading into the government and stuff. Ottawa announces another. Oh, this is gonna kill me. I have to say it, Alex. They are providing another. Yeah, they're providing another 51 million in uh, aid programming for Ukraine. Now, Alex,
I
don't
know.
worry if you're struggling to make ends meet. We're gonna help somebody across the way. Now, all due respect to Ukraine, the people who are suffering, yes. But last time I checked, our country, our people are suffering ourselves too. The country is eroding. That people are struggling. So, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I think I saw a video on social media not too long ago of some like crazy hotel in Ukraine, and I mean, some of the supposedly like the CEOs in Ukraine, like the net worth of the people there, like of the majority of people, like it's in the millions. And I'm like, how? Like again, how does this like? You go to Africa. Hey, there is some really wealthy people there. There's the people that destroy the rest of the civilization, but 95% of the population is not. I think in Ukraine, there's a large portion of it that are actually quite wealthy. Of course, there's the people that are getting bombed and they're losing their homes. But again, why are we sending money to this place that if they have wealthy people, again, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's what are we doing?
Yeah. Now, this is, we got one more for us that the Mark Carney launches the Build Community Strong Fund. It was part of the budget of 2025, and it will spend $51 billion over the next 10 years on universities, hospitals, infrastructure. And hey, I mean, I like the idea of it. I don't know if we need more universities, hospitals, I believe with infrastructure. And I know Alex and I differ on a high-speed railway. I believe that I think that would help the economy. But again, that probably would take the entire $51 billion by one company, because Canada would say, "Ooh, it's going to take us 20 years to figure it out."
Yeah, absolutely. So, I actually, yeah, I actually agree with this. We don't need any more universities. We could just take over some of these diploma mills that have kind of shut down with the whole immigration stuff. Hospitals, yes, we do need hospitals, more doctors. Being able to retain talent in healthcare, tech would be great too. And so this fund is claiming that it will support 42,000 jobs per year, and it will boost Canada's GDP by 95 billion over 10 years. So again, that's great. But just like any new initiative that any government launches, like Build Canada Homes, remember that, Alex? Uh, didn't they just build only one home or 9 homes or whatever? Something, some stupid low number. But let's hope this actually pans out. So yeah, we got to wrap up the show. Today's a short one here. Alex, what do you got going on this weekend?
Just gonna be hanging out at a cabin. It's getting nice enough weather, so gonna go spend some time down by the lake, enjoy that, and hang out with the family. And then again, it's maybe I'm in the utopia, like you said, of real estate, but it's busier.
Yeah, for me, weather's warmed up, so I've dusted off my golf clubs. I went to the driving range just to get the rust out. I had one of my golf clubs re-gripped and stuff, so I'm like, all right, got to mix it with outdoor pickleball and golf and such. And
We'll see. I
yeah,
got out golfing once last year, so we'll see if I can beat that.
yeah, awesome. We'll see how that happens. But folks, thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and share it to a friend or family member who you think they'll benefit from this. Let's grow our community together. So on behalf of Alex Shanks, I'm Alex Pang. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Canadian Mortgage Show. We'll see you next time.
Now, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating. You can even send us an email, because we want to know what you guys want to hear about. That's what we're here for. Reach out anytime.